Welcome back to Operations Management. In this video, we are going to learn the facility location. As the content of the video, I'm going to cover what is facility location, then what are the criteria for facility location, the levels of location decisions, and the location analysis techniques. Facility location is the way of deciding a suitable location or place where the factory or plant will start functioning. This is critical as it significantly impacts the company's efficiency, cost, and overall success. Facility location considerations can be varied depending on the type of the facility being established. Objectives of facility location: reduce the capital investment and operating cost, ensuring effective plant layout, coordination with government policies, employee welfare and public need security. Let's look at the types of facilities. There are three types of facilities. First one is heavy manufacturing facilities. You know that shipbuilding, mining, aerospace building, these manufacturing facilities need larger equipment and require a lot of space. And they are quite capital expensive and capital intensive facilities. The next one is light industry facilities. These facilities require less capital intensive food processing, sometimes textiles, consumer goods, etc. They are quite smaller and it requires cleaner plants, and usually they are less costly. The final one is retail service facilities. These can be service stations, consumer stores, supermarkets, which are quite small compared to the above two and least costly. Now let's look at the facility location criteria, or what are the issues facing facility location. The first one is proximity to customers. Proximity to large target market is crucial for business. Being close to customers can reduce transportation cost and it will minimize the lead time, as well as it may be able to enhance the customer service. Understanding the demographics and distribution channels to the target market is essential for choosing the right location. The next one is total cost. Analyzing the cost factor associated with different locations, including lands or real estate cost, construction cost, utility cost, taxes, and other operating expenses, will be able to balance these costs with other factors such as market access and labor availability. This is essential to ensure the facility's economic viability. Next one is quality of labor. Access to skilled and qualified workforce is crucial for success of any facility. Consider factors such as labor availability, skill levels, wage rates, and workforce and demographics when selecting a facility. Additionally, we have to consider the labor laws and labor market dynamics when we are considering the quality of labor. Another one is the infrastructure. We have to evaluate the transportation network in potential locations, including roadways, railways, airports, and ports. A well-developed infrastructure facility can facilitate the movements of goods and materials. It will be able to reduce the transit times and lower the logistic cost. Availability of supplier is another factor which decide the facility location. For manufacturing facilities, proximity to suppliers, raw materials, components, or other inputs is important to minimize the transportation cost, and it will ensure a smooth supply chain. Access to reliable and cost-effective suppliers can improve operational efficiency and competitiveness. Free trade zones are the areas which one can conduct businesses free from industry custom duties. Thus, it is an essential factor when selecting a site location. Government barriers: by understanding the regulatory requirements, zoning loans, environmental regulations, and building codes in potential locations is essential when deciding the facility location. Compliance with local regulations imposed by the government is necessary to avoid legal issues and ensure smooth operations of the facility. The policies of the state government and local bodies concerned in labor laws and building codes, safety are the factors that decide the demand attention. Incentive packages may be in the form of exemptions from sales taxes, exercise duties for a specific period, and loan schemes. Subsidies will provide facilities over the other companies. Hence, this will provide the competitive advantage for facilities. Now let's see applicability of these facility locations criteria. If you are taking a sugar mill, you know that companies are constructing sugar mills close to the sugarcane farms. Consequently, there is a reduction in the transportation time and carriage inwards. If we look at a tea factory, the tea plants need moist soil for their growth. Such as in Sri Lanka, you know that in the upper hill, there are some major tea producing states. Hence, most tea factories are located in these states due to their climatic conditions. If we look at crude oil companies, we know that the United Arab Emirates is the largest exporter of crude oil, and Abu Dhabi National Oil Company, ADNOC, situated in UAE, is a leading company in this sector. There is a hierarchy of location decisions. We can make facility location decisions for global locations, regional locations, as well as site locations. Global location decisions are focusing on the companies when deciding a locating facility in a foreign country. Here they have to focus about the government stability, government regulations, political and economic systems, economic stability and growth, exchange rates, culture, climate, export and import regulations, duties and tariffs, location incentives, raw material availability, number and proximity of suppliers, transportation and distribution systems, labor cost and education, technology availability, commercial travels, technical expertise, cross-border trade regulations, group trade agreements, etc. Regional or divisional managers may be responsible for making regional location decisions. Typically, it involves selecting a specific region or area within a country for optimizing the distribution network to serve local market efficiently. They have to consider factors such as market demand, transportation networks, labor availability, regulatory considerations when deciding the regional decisions. At the operational level, factory managers or plant managers are responsible for choosing a site location decisions. These are facility level location decisions which are more tactical and focusing on optimizing operational efficiency and cost effectiveness. Here they are considering factors such as proximity to suppliers and customers, access to transportation infrastructure, availability of skilled labor, cost considerations, and regulatory environments. Let's look at location analysis techniques. There are six among them. One is cost profit volume analysis method. You know this is as BEP analysis, factor rating method, weighted scoring method, center of gravity method, transportation model, and finally load distance method. Let's look at the factor rating method. Let's look at this example. In the example, you can see different location factors such as labor pool and climate, proximity to suppliers, wage rates, community environment, proximity to customers, shipping modes, and air services. For each location factors, we are going to give the weights. Here we are giving more weight for labor pool and climate and lesser weight for air service. In between that, higher weights are given for the most priority items. Then we are going to compare three different sites and we are going to put the scores from 0 to 10 depending on each factor. Now, in the table, you can see for site 1, for labor pool and climate, we have given 8 marks. Whereas for site 2, we have given 6.5 marks and for site 3, we are giving 9 marks. Let's go with the community environment. In the community environment, for site 1, we have given 7.5 and for site 2, 8 and site 3, 8. Likewise, we are giving for each site the marks for each location factor. Next step is we have to obtain the weighted scores. Weighted scores are obtained by multiplying the weights of each site with the site scores. So here in the previous sites we have obtained the weights. Now we are going to multiply it with the site score. So let's look at site 1. In the site 1, for the location, factor, labor pool and climate, we have obtained 3 as the weight. Now this should be multiplied with the site score number 8. So we are getting the weighted score as 24. For labor pool and climate for site 2, we have to multiply the weight 3 with the site score of 6.5. Then we can obtain 19.5. For site 3, what we are going to do for labor pool and climate, we are going to multiply the weight 3 with the site score of 9. So we are getting the weighted score as 27. Likewise, for each location factor, we are going to obtain the weighted scores. Finally, what we are going to do is we are going to get the total score by combining everything. So we have to get the sum of each site. Then we have to select the most highest weighted score to select the location. So in this one, the highest mark is going for side 3, which is 82.05. Now let's look at the center of gravity method. Center of gravity method. Here we are going to locate the facility at center of geographic area. It is based on the weight and distance traveled. We are going to establish grid map of the area, and then we are going to identify the coordinates, and we are going to weight the shift for each location. So here you can see we have identified 3 different locations. So for each different locations, we are going to identify the coordinates and we are going to plot it in the grid map. So here you can see for facility location 1, we have get the coordinate x1 and y1 and we have set it based on the weights. Here you can see it in the coordinates wise in the second diagram and as a grid wise in the first diagram. So location 2 we have get x2 and y2 and you can see it in the coordinate form in the second diagram, and x3 y3 based on the weight in the third location and it can be seen in the coordinate diagram as well. Likewise, based on the grid map or by finding the coordinates, we are going to plot the diagram, which means we are going to identify the location. Now let's see how we are going to find the coordinates for new facility. Here x bar represent the x coordinate for the new facility and y bar represent the y coordinate for new facility. And xi is the x coordinate for the destination I or the market I, and yi is the y coordinate of the destination I. Here qi represent the weight of the destination I. So you can see the sum of xi or the x coordinates into its weight has to be divided by the total weights to obtain the x coordinate for the new facility. Whereas to obtain the y coordinate for the new facility, what we are going to do, we are going to multiply the y coordinates with its weight and we are going to divide it with the total weights of the destination. Then we can obtain the y bar. Now, by using the center of gravity method and the information below on the location of the potential markets A, B, C, D, we are going to determine where the new facility should be located to minimize the total transportation cost. Here you have to note that a selected point in the middle of each region representing the regional market. So you can see for A, x coordinate is 200 and y coordinate is 200, whereas the weight is 75. For B, x coordinate is 100 and y coordinate is 500 and the weight is 105. For C, x coordinate is 250 and y coordinate is 600 and the weight given is 135. For D, x coordinate is 500 and y coordinate is 300 and the weight is 60. To obtain the x coordinates, what we are going to do is we are going to multiply the x value with its weight. So 200 into 75, 100 into 105, 250 into 135, plus we are going to add the final 500 into 60. Then we have to divide it with the total weights. That is 75, 105, 135 and 60. So we are going to obtain the x coordinate as 238. Let's do the same method for y. So here y coordinate has to be multiplied by its weight. 200 into 75, 500 into 105, 600 into 135 and finally 300 into 60 should be divided by the total weight. Then we are going to obtain the y coordinate as 444. Accordingly, new facility location should be located in the coordinates of x 238 and y 444. This is the point in the middle of each region which represent the regional market. Now let's quickly look at the center of gravity method. Now let's look at the variation of the center of gravity method, where various locations are evaluating using the load distance value, that is a measure of weight and distance. Let's look at the steps for computation. Here first we are going to compute the load into distance for each side, and then we are going to choose the side with lower load and distance. Here distance can be actual or a straight line. Now you can see how we are going to find the load distance value. So here what we are going to do, we are going to take the load expressed as a weight by taking the number of trips or units being shipped from proposed site and location I into the distance between proposed site and location I, which means we are going to multiply the number of trips from the distance between the proposed site. Then how we are going to obtain this distance? So here what we are going to do is, from the existing facility coordinates x, we are going to deduct the proposed site coordinate. Then we are going to take the square of it. Then we are going to add the coordinates of existing y, and we are going to take the difference between it by deducting the proposed side coordinates of y. Then we are going to take the square of it. After that, what we are going to take is, we are going to take the square root of both coordinates. Following are the disadvantages of selecting a poor location of the facility. One is, it will add additional cost to the maintenance. Then purchase of land and construction infrastructure will be an expensive affair. There may be difficulty in marketing and transportation of the products, as well as you can see a dissatisfaction among the employees and workers. Furthermore, there may be abnormal wastage and delays in the processes. If you have understood the theory part of the facility location decisions, please go through these review questions and try to answer and check whether you are able to cope up with these questions in the examination scenario.